Everybody, it's Annette from the Art of Intuition, and today we're going to talk about energetics. What exactly is meant by the term energetics? I had this question come up a couple of days ago, and I thought that'd probably be a good idea to put a video out explaining what that means. So you see that a lot. I say it a lot. Look at the energetics of reality. How you start, the energy that starts is going to dictate that timeline. Now, that didn't mean in the middle you couldn't shift the energy, but if you don't shift the energy or you don't recognize the energy you're starting from, you're going to end up with the result you probably don't want at the end because you haven't really identified why you're going into the reality. So the question came up, and I felt like it's probably a different way I could explain it because I didn't feel like I was really connecting with the explanation. So what is energetics? Energetics is what moves the reality forward. So when you want to think about what's moving the reality forward, what's your part in moving the reality forward? What are you in the reality for? And it's not just intent on why you're there, because there's a zillion reasons why you're in the reality, why you're creating the reality. You've got a conscious intent and you have a subconscious intent. Depending on how conscious you are, the more conscious you become, the more your subconscious becomes your conscious, and you don't really have subconscious anymore. You know why you're in anything. Even if it's a distorted reason, you can identify that's a distorted reason. The other day I was about to do something and I was like, why am I doing that? I knew exactly why I was doing it. I didn't have a pure agenda by doing it. So I just didn't do it because it's like, I didn't have it running in the background. But until you reach a level of consciousness where you have stuff running in the background, you're going to be in a lot of realities where you don't understand why it worked out that way. But if you go back and look at old realities, sometimes you can start to piece them together because you're always going to be more conscious than you were when you did a previous reality. You just can't not be. You're always going up. We're always moving upwards. So you're always going to be in a different place than you were before. So when you start picking apart a reality, one you're currently going into, one you've already entered into, one you entered into before and it didn't end where you wanted to, look at why you were there. What's propelling you forward? And really be honest with yourself without judging yourself. We can judge ourselves and say, oh, I was in it for all these distorted reasons, but until we are conscious enough to see all those reasons, we really, in a way, aren't, I'm going to say we're not accountable, but in a way, we're really not accountable for why we did it. But if you know why you're doing it, then that's a different story. Then you really got to look at it. I've entered into a lot of realities knowing there's a reason I was there, and it wasn't from my purest place, but I had a different role to play. There's a lot of different reasons I was in the reality, and it might have given me inspiration. I might have been very inspired with the reality, excited with the reality. But eventually that starts to wear down because you start clearing through all that programming that puts you in the reality. And then the reality is not fun anymore. It's not inspiring anymore. Then you got to look at why you're still in it. Why am I still taking part in something that I'm not enjoying? What is my role here? And we have to be very honest with what's pushing us into it. What are we bringing to it? What is the term? Energy is always in motion. Even when we're not doing anything, we're doing something, whether you're calling it in subconsciously or not. That's why we attract a lot of realities where we're like, how the hell did I attract that? Subconsciously, you're putting out a frequency that's attracting that reality. Subconsciously, you're putting out a program, a signature that's saying, hey, bring that back to me. So we have to be honest, we're doing that. We can't attract anything we don't hold somewhere. Even if it's on a cellular level, we're holding it. So we have to really look at why we entered into it. And what propelled us to do it. Let's say we wanted to enter into a different job, right? But we still have our old job, and we could stay at our old job and continue that reality. And we could say, oh, we're staying there because it's a safe reality for us. What we presume is a safe reality for us is how we frame it in our mind. So that's the energetics. But we have to go deeper than that. What's the real reason you're there? Is fear propelling the reality forward for you to continue the reality? Is it a lack of self-worth that's propelling the reality forward? Are you giving your power away to other people? Are you letting anger propel you forward? Sometimes anger can be something that pushes a reality forward, but it kind of gets you going in the direction you should have gone in the first place. Because you're usually we're only angry, well, always. You're really just angry with yourself because we always kind of knew better. But we really have to get deep into why we set the reality up. So whatever's propelling you to be there, and we really have to look, and it's a zillion reasons you're there. It's fun to see how many we can come up with to see why did it end that way. I've had so many that looked okay when I started out, even though, I'm gonna say looked okay. On the very surface, they looked okay. But when you start getting into why everyone's in the reality, and you will become conscious enough where you can pick apart the whole thing, you can pull the whole thing apart and see what their energetics is, what's propelling them to be there, what's propelling you to be there, what's the emotion, what are you trying to fill? And if you're not coming from your purest place, and sometimes we're not coming from our purest place, we have to recognize that and say, okay, I'm not coming from my purest place here. I have an agenda here. What is my agenda? What do I want from that agenda? Why do I have an agenda? Maybe you're waiting for something to happen, waiting to hear from a job, waiting to hear from a person, whatever you feel like you're waiting for. And waiting is kind of we really don't wait here, but there might be some realities you see coming in and you don't know why it hasn't happened. And the easiest way for me to resolve that with myself is I just say it's not aligned to be here yet. My vibration's not in the right place. If other people are in the reality with me, their vibration's not in the right place. Because if it was, it would be here. If it was aligned, it would be here. If it's not here, there's a reason. So when we try to push a reality forward, and you'll be like, and I've done this, it didn't turn out the way I thought it would. I thought it was going to be this way and it turned out this way. Anything we try to push forward, we have to look at why we're not willing to wait and let it play out. Because a lot of things need to play out. There's a reason they're not there. Now, if you see you're supposed to do something and you're not doing it, that's a different energy in a sense. I had someone say, you can't use energy to define energy. It's kind of the easiest way to do it because you can't really noodle this with your head. It's not a head thing to understand. You have to feel into the reality. Why are you there? What is your agenda here? Everyone has an agenda somewhere. And when you get to your purest aspects and you really don't have an agenda, you're just showing up to be yourself, to be your best and your brightest self, to assist in the reality in some way. And even if you look at old realities you participated in, you still showed up to participate in the reality in some way. Some way that was highest aligned for someone. You were just matching a level of consciousness that might not have been your highest level of consciousness, but you're still matching a level of consciousness you held. So don't beat yourself up, because we always want to do that. I noticed I've done that a little bit lately. Started thinking about old realities. I'm like, boy, that was, but we can't really do that. And when you're doing that, sometimes we're just clearing that from our cellular memory and sort of getting rid of it. Try not to judge why you're there, but really be honest with yourself. What do I want from this? If you're trying to get the last word in, which that can happen quite a bit to all of us, we keep saying, oh, we're just trying to make our point. I'm trying to, I can't remember how someone explained it, but someone explained it like, oh, I just wanted them to see, right? I just want to keep saying it. I want to keep repeating myself. Or my favorite, I'm going to say it louder to see if it gets the point across. If you feel like you're combative in anything, you really got to look at why you're feeling the need to be combative. Why do you feel like you want to push it forward when it's obviously something wrong? And if people are raising their voices, it's not aligned. It's not aligned in its highest place. Something has gone really out of alignment. And it's gotten to this level because it's that misaligned. So look at what you're being propelled to do. Energy is moving. Energy is always going to move something forward. Whether it's your energy of restraint, waiting for the reality to come in, but I really don't like the word waiting. You're just allowing it. Maybe that's a better word. You're just allowing the reality to come in. You're allowing it to breathe and understanding it's not here yet. You might see other things you're supposed to do. This is not about procrastinating. It's about being honest if you're trying to push something forward, which I found myself doing that quite a bit sometimes. Because sometimes we can see so far ahead that we know certain things are going to come in, certain people are going to come in, and we're like, okay, why aren't you here? Maybe I'll push that forward a little bit. Practice restraint. If it's not flowing in, look at what is flowing in. Those are things we need to deal with to get to the next thing. But be honest as to why you're in the reality. Look at what's pushing you to be there. It's a zillion reasons. Just see how many you can identify. And keep practicing the art of intuition.